Hey people, Salmon Hawk here. Sorry if I sound a little weird. I kind of lost my hearing over the weekend, at least some of it. I haven't done a lot of videos recently, particularly on this channel, because of all the things that are going on. I wasn't sure really how they were going to start playing out. When we do something, we initiate a project, procedure, connections, relationships. Everything has a lifespan, you know. And yes, there is such a thing as time. I know a lot of the New Agers and whatever say, oh, no such thing as time. But if you ever want to test that, hold their head underwater for a while and watch them run out of time, reality check. When we have these things happening, we have to really break away from the shaman to do, and the shamanic practitioners find out they have to break away from their everyday life and start living more and acting and putting forth a lot more effort in between the worlds so they can get the shamanic things done to affect the things of what we call the normal waking world, I guess. And for the last few months, that's what this has been, particularly in this last month. Back in 2002, I was doing a geomantic project, for the Peace Project in Colombia. And back then, it was the only war that had four sides: the government, the guerrillas, the ELN, and the paramilitaries. One more trip through a war zone for me, right? Which is often a place where the shamans do their best work. I was commissioned to build a structure to help someone, and I'm not going to say much more on this, to help someone who was a political nobody be president. And he wanted to do two things. This was Alvaro Uribe: raise taxes and raise the war effort. And I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And one of the things that I had to do there, as part of that project, with the astrology concerned with it, I had to stay in Colombia, particularly Bogota, during the inauguration, while the guerrillas were bombing it. And that was another episode. So he won by a good margin, and then they even changed their constitution to re-elect him. So, and Colombia progressed a lot, But unfortunately, the structure that I built there for that purpose was severely neglected. And as we had learned many years before, when you build these kind of structures, there's an extension of self. And the things that start to happen to the structure can also happen to you. There was some strange coincidences, I'll just leave it at that the church in downtown Villaleva, where, nah, I'm not going to get any more details about that. Forget it. Anyway, the people in power twisted a lot of things around in the government because our efforts, the team that I had with that particular project, made some big ripples in the political agendas for not just Colombia, but in the world, in that particular hemisphere. And it could have continued to be a jewel. Colombia could have continued to be a jewel for that area. Because it was also pointed out to me that other political candidates used to go to that structure and meditate on what they should do for their upcoming political career. But still, the structure was not well maintained and so on. And 6 years ago, I released the property or the caretaking aspect of it to some other people. And then there became some health problems, which was kind of common because of that circle. Yeah, you catch me. I'm trying to really kind of redact and delete some things that I can't give up too much information. But and then they started to have some health problems, and then that kind of hampered some efforts. So another shaman from Spain, who I had worked with, that served in a real shamanic apprenticeship with me, stepped in. She goes, I think I can do this. I think I can do a tag. And a tag is when one person comes in, who has to be a very specifically trained shaman, that can come in and tag one of these structures and pull the living consciousness from that structure into someplace else. And I pointed out to her the things that can happen with this kind of a process. Long story short, so she did that. So she went to the sphere in Colombia. Oh, by the way, she had gone through a strong clearing period for through a 3-year time frame. Only made one mistake, well, two during that period, but she was clean enough and centralized in her truth to be able to take on that project. And when I say that is just that with men and women will go through these phases where you'll just get isolated. And when you're isolated like that, it's like no intimate relationships. You have to have a clean diet and so on. Mine, to prepare for this project, was a little over 3 years, of lots and lots of physical training, no intimacy with anybody, for the celibate journey for 3 years, plus strict diet, to really tune into the body, be able to help in this tagging kind of a process. and so when she had gone to the sphere and then came to the ceremonial area that we have in South Florida, so I went from Central Texas to South Florida to meet her, to continue in that process. So she and I got together in what you would just call the sex magic part of it, to catalyze the tagging process and download the information I had from that time period, so she can take that energy back into Spain to work, reignite, reinitiate some projects that we were doing there, that we were doing great progress in until this scamdemic came. And so after tagging that, she'll be able to do that in Europe. So for my European friends, expect that nice surge of really positive energies to kick off, some great things to happen, So hopefully, and one of the nice things out is, you notice that Germany was this focal point during the whole scamdemic thing. That whatever happened there really jumped over into UK and then through the rest of Europe, and then for some reason the United States followed suit. And so, yeah, for Colombia, Central and South America is going to have a little bit of a turmoil period as that place kind of implodes. But you should have upkept that structure. The other structures that I had built will get a little bit more pieces of that information and energetic boost, so they can be kind of reactivated. Some of them are in not so good care. 2 have been destroyed, so that power gets distributed. So there's going to be a few areas that are going to get these really shaking kind of energetic tremors, reactivations with people, some power surges with people. There's going to be some people that feel a lot of regret for not maintaining their vigilance and patience and discipline and consistency. Okay, well, just go ahead and tag that up as memories and lessons learned, and try to do the catch up the best you can. I know for a lot of people look at this, it doesn't make any sense, but it will later. You'll start to say, okay, this is probably what Hawk was talking about. The dogmatic belief systems from the Abrahamic religions are going to suffer a little bit of a shot. Let that stuff go, people. But don't let it go as far as some of the other stuff politically that's happening. Don't get crazy with it. Here's the truth. The sexual energy stuff, because I see a lot of the resurgence of the Kundalini, the Tantra stuff. These people are clueless. If you really want to learn more about those kind of energies, go into the ancient cultures, and how they did it. And I'm way pre-India stuff, because here's one of the things that happened really bad with the Columbia project, and that is just that was an area that was really strong with the indigenous peoples, with their connection with the earth, with their magic, with their spirituality, sexuality, and the earth and the nature connections. When the Spaniards came in there, to totally rip that apart and bring in like that whole Inquisition Catholic mentality. That's what really killed a lot of that. Well, what we were doing in that structure for the peace project and helping other things was reactivating that energy. And that area was hungry for it, and that's why we had such a great success. So by Shaman Lisa taking that energy back into Spain, it kind of can go back through what we call interdimensional time displacement healing, and help heal what was done there by healing the history of the past in Spain with that energy that we were activating in Colombia. So it's like this double loop healing. It's going to take a little while. So this time next year, there's a good chance there's going to be an awesome, really positive awakening over the next year, and through starting in Spain. And that can be that kind of a place that can be the birthplace of a really new way of thinking, and kind of like a huge living vortex for Europe in general, a second renaissance, so to speak, and of course there'll be those powers that are going to resist it, but I think this time people are really ready for that really positive energy, and we can have a better chance of continuing, because back in 2019 we were making awesome progress, and the other side, our handlers, knew this, and I think that's why one of the many reasons they pushed hard for this whole scamdemic, just to interrupt that progress, because I knew for a fact that summer of 2020 it was going to be a major shockwave of awakening and really positive energies, but we didn't get a chance to do it. Another time I'll do another video showing about these people who are handlers, people with the running the world and all that. They have the same information that your shamans do, and that's why they plan a lot of these big distractions and so on, so people don't really focus on or take advantage of the opportunities that can really benefit humanity. But they spend years, like in this case, focused on the negative energies and so on of the agenda, the global agenda. Yeah, I'd rather not be talking about the politics and all the other stuff, but a lot of my alleged conspiracy theories came true, didn't they? Yeah. So stay tuned, people. Like, subscribe, all that. A lot of good things are coming. But we, as a mass, team humanity, we need to do our part, each and every one of us, to do two things. Say, I want everything exposed. Because when these people are coming up with these false narratives and false flag operations, it distracts people from the possibilities and opportunities of real, true enlightenment. And like each grain of sand on the beach makes that massive beach. Well, each positive input of our desires for a better world, a better enlightened state of humanity, a sustainability, all these things that really can happen. This whole green political thing, it won't happen the way they're saying it. It cannot. And I can do videos later on why, but but the simple fact of it is if us, as team humanity, put our focused efforts on making that better world, that greener world, the high-tech sustainable world, that's a real feasible possibility. It's sustainable. We can do this, but we have to really want it as a collective. And that's what I'm asking everybody to do. You want everything exposed just to halt those false flag negative agendas, and you want to go ahead and have the other things exposed of what you can do individually to your own personal actions, your own personal guidance of thoughts, to make this the paradise that it really could. We could have paradise on Earth. We have the technology, the resources, and all that. We really could do it, but we have to all really want it. Okay, so that's what I truly want for myself, my grandkids, children, but I want that for everyone else too. So I hope you'll join me in that part. If nothing else on this video, I hope you join me in that part. Okay? I'll catch you guys later.